Good afternoon. Hope everyone is well. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to the Lovespoon Workshop again for another live stream. Welcome for the first time if you're new here as well. I'm just going to do all of our checks. Welcome to the Lovespoon Workshop again. Yeah. Right, there we are. Everything seems to be working fine. So, we got a spoon in the vise. First thing I'm going to do is to show you the full sort of length of this Lovespoon. So, starting off, the bowl, you got the twist, you got a dragon, got a sheep, a wheel, a cow, initials, acorns as well, and the eternity sign. Now, this Lovespoon, for my own liking, it is a little bit on the large size. But that's what the customer wanted. That's what they asked us to make. So here we go. We're going to have a little look. Hello to the carver and hello to Lawrence as well. Thank you both for joining us. And I'm glad the carver is here from the start because we had a parcel we were all ready to send out. I didn't actually say what we were going to send out, but it's all sort of fallen through, I'm afraid. We're at a bit of a loss what to do now. Basically, we were going to send you out. Oh, hello Aubrey as well. Or Tommy's Workshop. Hello there. Thank you all for joining us. Great to have you with us. Hello, Carla from Mississippi. Ah, fantastic. Thank you all for joining us. Yeah, what we were going to do is just to give a bit of background on it. I know that the carver has been having a look with the scroll saw in, and we were going to send out some blades. So we organised it all ready to send it out to you. Took it to our local post office, and they refused to send it. So yeah, that was a bit annoying, to be honest with you, because it's scroll saw blades, they said they won't take it. The irony is, some of the scroll saw blades that we were going to send, we bought from America. They came from the US. So we were only really sending them back to where we bought them from. But they won't let us do it. So we're at a bit of a loss now. A bit frustrating, a bit annoying. And yeah, we thought it would be a good way for you to be able to try all sorts of different scroll saw blades. So something we're always trying to do is to help everybody out, encourage everyone, and you know, any little things that help, because we did a lot of scroll saw blade trials. It's good to know as well, because I was going to offer it out to everybody and say, look, you know, we're going to do a few little giveaways if you want to try out some different scroll saw blades. Unfortunately, the rules are we can't do it. I don't quite understand it, to be honest with you. I don't really understand what they think that scroll saw blades in a package is actually going to do, but there we are. That was what happened. Now, getting onto this spoon then, do they consider them as weapons? Yeah, well, that's my thinking. Do they think that, I don't know, how do they think that the scroll saw blade is going to, I mean, blimey heck, you've got a job to inflict much of an injury using a scroll saw blade when it's working, so good luck with that. If anyone's going to try any acts of terrorism with a scroll saw blade, that's quite a long fix, that one. Oh, I'm just going to call, there's, somebody just come to the door here, knocking on the door. It's Shane there, it is. Our neighbour's just come to the door. The door is locked there. If you explain, I'm not ignoring him, dude. All right, Shane. Jeez. There we are. Yeah, getting back to this spoon then. One thing, the reason I've started on the twist, quite often this is a job that I would leave until sort of the end, but I'm reminding myself not to go too deep on this spoon. The reason I'm very conscious of how I carve this particular Lovespoon is because it's so long, it's so big, that what they've requested, that I'm conscious of keeping as much strength as possible. Odd indeed. Yeah, I would agree with that sentiment. So yeah, sorry about that. It was my plan was to send you out some scroll saws to try out. I'm going to have a few videos where we go right the way through different scroll saws, Pegasus ones, and Flying Dutchman ones, which we bought from America. I'm in America, trust me. I have a much better selection. Yeah, I'm absolutely sure that you do, and I do find it. What it was is that they asked Dad what is it. He just said, oh, it's just a few scroll saw blades to try out, and they said it's on their list of things that you can't send. So that was the end of that. And then I had a little look because they said, oh, that'd have to be sent using courier, and it's a 96 gram package, and they reckon that to send that, the starting price, the cheapest price I saw was something like £37, about $50 to send a teeny tiny packet of scroll saw blades. I'm interested to know though, how does it work if we can bring them in from, you know, I've had one delivery from Poland recently, one from the US, and that was all fine. The moment we've tried to send some, there's a problem. But there we are. Yeah, so explaining this one, we're working on a piece of mahogany. We needed quite a large, Aubrey's just noticed the comment from the carver. And we got quite a large piece of mahogany that we're working in. And that's why I've started on this section, is because I'm conscious of the fact that if I take too much wood off, I'm going to lose a lot of strength in it, and I'm a bit concerned. Exactly what the carver's saying, you can buy the full range. Yeah, and I give it, it was the company to have a look at in the US. I think it's the wooden, is it the Wooden Teddy Bear? Something like the Wooden Teddy Bear Incorporated. That's the company then to have a little look at, because they're the ones that we got the scroll saw blades from originally, and some of those Flying Dutchman blades, they are very good. They're comparable, some of them, to our Nikwa Speed number 9 reverse tooth blade. But I'm not going to say any more than that, because I'll spoil my videos that I've been working on. Interesting trials, the results with it, and there are some blades, like for instance Pegasus, are quite widely available here in the UK. Not sure about in the US, but we tried out a lot of their blades, and that was interesting. I even tried out spiral blades again. I've tried all sorts of different spiral blades over the years. Without giving too much away, I still don't get on with them, but there we are. So, as you can see, because we've got two pieces of wood, two pieces of paper, this is something we're sticking down. You can see that's starting to flap up there, so I'm going to rip that off at that point there. It's because there's two pieces of paper on there. Some of the things then we got coming up on the channel. This year, I've actually done 2, with our scroll saw projects, I've done 2 for this year. Well, I've completed 1 Christmas scroll saw project video. I've actually decided to do a second one. Basically, I was enjoying developing different Christmas ideas. And the one little idea that I got, I finished making it on Sunday, and we sold it this morning. We had 5 or 6 people in the workshop, so yeah, quite excited now to make a few others, and I'll be sharing the designs as well on the website. Here we go. We're going to get rid of as much of that paper. That's all coming off, and we've got all of that off so far. So nice to be able to see that wood underneath, and it also means then later on we haven't got as much work taking that paper off with the belt sander. My guess with the Brexit shortages, maybe they fear not having enough remaining in the UK. Do you know, I tell you now, you mentioned that, our normal blade, the Nikwa number 9 reverse tooth blade, when we went to order that one, couldn't get any. Thankfully, we managed to, it was the carver helped us out on that, gave us an eBay seller that he'd used out in Poland, so thank you again for that. And so we had to buy them through that seller. So yeah, it's a bit of a mess all around. The current thing in the UK in terms of shortages and things going on is everyone's panic buying fuel. That's the latest one. They're all queuing up in petrol stations and things like that to fill vehicles up. Myself, I haven't actually bought any, even though I need some at the moment. But worst case scenario is my boys are not able to get to school, and my youngest son, I think he would probably be quite delighted at that prospect. So you can see we're working on this section first of all, and as I said, that's the main thing, is so I don't go and forget that I got to leave as much strength in this as possible. The other parts of the carving, you know, they're more detailed, that sort of thing. More likely Royal Mail, not the best for shipping abroad. Yeah, it's we use Royal Mail, see, for the spoons and stuff like that. And we had a little look around with the couriers. It's the price of everything with the couriers is the problem, and with such a small package that we were sending out, yeah, sort of crazy money that it's a problem. It's a problem that we've been confronted with. So, for instance, when we're sending around the UK, we've tried different couriers, but again, they start to get quite expensive. We've used Royal Mail, we've used Hermes, I've looked at DHL, I've looked at is it DHL? I think it is. TNT was another one we looked at all different ones. UPS. There's another one that's gone out of my head. I think it's DPD, and we've looked at all different ones, and it gets really it's frustrating because for instance, I just stopped using Hermes again because when I book with them, the idea is they come and collect the parcel. So I booked 2 parcels last week and they just didn't turn up. And so there's no sort of communication as to why they don't turn up, and worked out, I think, that there was somebody who was off. But the problem is that we then not to know what's going on, and customers waiting for their Lovespoon. Not great, to be honest with you. So our trials and tribulations when it comes to getting things delivered continue. Maybe Christmas, but yeah, I mean we've done all sorts of different ones. The one that seems quite popular at the moment, we've got a few robin designs, so a few different robin designs, and those are proving quite popular. That's our sort of, what can I call it, our theme for this year then with Christmas is a few little robin products, and it's proving quite popular. So our new Christmas decoration is Little Robin, and I'm still just about in shot if I'm working there. And so yeah, we've got a new little design of a robin one, and I did a robin, like a candle holder hanging decoration. You'll see it in the video coming up. And we've sold it already. Made it in a piece of the juniper that we have in from La Mancha. This one then, beautiful piece of furniture mahogany. That one there. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to jump. Where are we going to jump to? I think we'll have a look at the cow. Let's have a look at the cow. So we're going to be jumping around a little bit here, just to demonstrate a few different things to you. Yeah, nice piece of furniture oak, of mahogany, sorry. And the design, there's a bit of an agricultural theme here going on. The difficulty as well then, to go back to it, there's a few things that a Lovespoon of this size causes issues on. One of the issues, Thomas the woodcarver just walking through as well.
Pronoun that, everyone.
Pronoun that. One of the issues that a Lovespoon of this size causes us, and why we try to encourage people not to have something as big as this, is the restricted movement when it comes to the scroll saw. So once you're above, because it's so long, our scroll saw is a 17-inch bed. I think that's right, isn't it? 17 inches, so to the back of the throat. So it's too long. So you're down to about 50% when it comes to the
in fairness,
mobility and movement.
You make a drawing.
Yeah.
So you show people the drawing.
Yeah.
You tell them the exact dimensions and everything, so they can see and they can put the drawing then, and they know where that spoon is going to go.
Yeah.
So it isn't exactly.
I've just missed a comment. I try and use DPD, but even then I've had parcels sent back twice. Yeah, that's absolutely right. I could have used a spiral blade. Yes, isn't it? Wanted me to make the Mandalorian for trick or treating. And asked for the rifle he uses. I got it done, but the spiral would have saved time. Yeah, it's as I say, I'll send you all the information on those different blades, and you can have a little look. Yeah. When it's as long as this, though, it does.
But it's not completely at the end of the day, it is what it is. They've got all the information they want on there.
Yeah.
They got the dragon, they got the sheep, the wheel, acorns, everything's on there. So I mean, that's the nice thing about the Lovespoon. How else can you record all those things you want to and display it then?
What happened, I think,
it's what I always think about it. It's what they call a talking piece.
And the other thing as well, do you know what I think happened with this one when it came to the size? He was very, very specific about the size. And this happens at different times when it comes to the bespoke spoon. I think he's got a particular space, all measured out.
Exactly.
The person involved with it, he knows exactly where he wants this spoon to go. And so that's fair enough. It's just from a making point of view, that's one thing that you always got to sort of bear in mind. It just makes things a little bit more tricky for us. And you have to budget for that then. You have to budget, that is, with this particular project, quite often the most time-consuming and demanding aspect of the process is the carving. That's the norm. With this one, the most time-consuming part of the process and the most challenging part of it is probably going to work out. Famous last words, because something will probably go wrong. But the most challenging piece would have been the actual scroll sawing. So it's just different things work out in different ways. So we're doing our stop cuts on the tail there, because that's the direction the grain is going in, and going quite delicately, quite softly to put those stop cuts in. And we've got, of course, the two back legs. So those same sort of process, working in those different layers. So far we're working towards the back end of the cow, and we've got the udders, they're pushed back on one level. For the spoon that I made, I drew a 3D drawing, i.e. all faces, I could draw it out onto the block of wood, on the block, and work out the order of my work. Yeah, that's it. I mean, you sort of work out your method, you work out your process, and that's one method. When you're working on more three-dimensional projects like that, you can work it out on all four sides and go from there. Yeah, good way of doing it. That's the nice thing with it. No sort of rules or regs, no right or wrong. Work out that process and go from there. So with this one, it just means, so for instance, when you're going up into those points, you're trying to cut a line up, and then once you get there, you're trying to get it down. So if you're working in that opposite direction, it's that in that one direction you'll have restricted movement. Difficult to explain, but if you put a long piece of wood in your scroll saw, and you'll get an idea of where we were having a few little challenges, but all good fun, good process, and we got there. That's the main thing. Now I'm dropping these legs back. And again, it's our usual thing where we're working in 2 dimensions. So most of our bespoke spoons that we're doing, most of the work is on the front side of the spoon. And so it's just working out the different layers, the different depths that we're looking to get. This is now as well getting towards, we're getting towards the last few sort of bespoke jobs that we're working on in this latest group. Because we've had quite a busy spell when it comes to the bespoke spoons, but we're getting towards completing most of the projects that we've got on for the autumn, which is good. Means as well that we should hopefully have an opportunity to work on some other things and different projects that we got lined up. Now this one here, when it came to the drawing as well, from the original design that I had, that I was working on, when I came to cut out that bit there, the ear was a bit shorter and I just lengthened it. The idea, of course, giving it a bit of extra strength because it being left attached. So we've got that extra strength by joining it just to the edge. On the same note, we're just doing the stop cuts for the nose and the mouth. And what we've got to work out, so the nose, we're going to do with 2 little lines going 1 and 2 like that. And then the mouth, I think actually I will do the mouth as 1 line. Just adding those fine little bits of detail, just like so. Oh, I don't know. I'm turning it into a bit of a grumpy cow. I'm not happy now, I want a smiley cow. Or there may be a little bit of work needed on this now. I don't want an unhappy cow. Nobody wants to see a sad cow on their Lovespoon. If I go that way and that way, does that... Looks a bit serious, but it's a bit better than a grumpy cow. Yeah, no, that's a bit better. Sorry, I missed something, did I? That's the good thing about spiral blades. You can cut in any direction. In like the straight, like, yeah, exactly. Not I can use it. No, it's always something. This is always the sort of great debate when it comes to blades. I love the idea of working in spiral blades. It's just something that has never... the reality of working with them has never really worked out for me. The theory of them, fantastic. Actually coming to work with them is a different kettle of fish altogether. Has always been my experience with them. But we always recommend have a go and see how you get on with it. It's basically with myself, I think, you know, because we're working in hardwoods, the fact that they're sort of cutting on all edges, you know, you're getting a wider cut and more sort of more finishing required. That's the beauty of the blade that we work in, is that it doesn't require a lot of work in the same way when it comes to the finishing. I'm going to turn this right the way around and sort out this cow's head, because he's not looking, or she is not looking quite right at the moment. So let's have a little look. So we're just dropping that layer back down like so, and I think we're going to stick with using a straight chisel, a small straight chisel for doing the markings. And I'm not going to cut that bit down as much. I'm not going to shape it as much as I did the first time. So, working in the opposite direction, we can get a little bit more of the depth that we want on the tail. I'm just going to use as well, we're going to work on getting the levels for the front legs. I think this one's got to go back a little bit further. And yeah, I'm gonna sort of create the effect with the tail as if there's the two parts. So we just put stop cuts just here and here, just to create that effect that it's two separate parts on the tail. Just like so. Just creates that idea. Definitely a cleaner cut with the straight blades for me anyway. Yeah, I've tried all sorts of different spiral blades over the years, and the difference, you know, the in terms of the finish is striking. Just doesn't do that clean, sharp finish in the same way. Slower feed speed as well, so not for me. So we're going to go just a little bit for the hoof. One like so, and just like so. We're starting as well, you may notice that we've got a bit of a thicker jacket on today because it's starting to get a bit colder in the workshop too. So signs that we're getting more into autumn now here. The weather's starting to change. So with the cow now we got different levels and different layers that we work to. Again, we're going to get that just a little bit of depth behind that front leg. And over the years, it's one that we've carved a few different versions. Sometimes we've done the bull. We've had a few love spoons that people have requested where there's been a marriage with a Spanish link and they put the bull on there. Somewhat controversial now with the Spanish. It's don't see it as much. So yeah, we've done it in that way, and we've done it on a few different spoons where people have had links with farming, dairy farming, that sort of thing as well. And it's nice then with the Love Spoon that you can include things like that. You can incorporate stuff that is very personal to the individual. It's nice that we're in a position where we can cater for people in that way. There we are. So that's progressing quite well. I also then shape just in underneath the sort of stomach area, just round all of that off. Again, creating a different layer, but creating a nicer form. Now, one of the areas that I did have a few challenges when it came to the scroll sawing was in and around the hearts. So I'm quite keen to get moving with those sooner rather than later. So that'll be another aspect that we're working on. We're just also now working on those acorns. Last week's carving as well, we'll have to bring that one in. We finished that one off. I do believe, yeah, it's in the finishing room, that one there. So we'll have to show everybody how that sort of took shape. In the end, yeah, it worked out well. We listened to the advice from the carver. Fantastic help with that one there, because it was quite interesting because Dad, his instinct, same as mine and same as the carver with the Jack-in-the-Box carving you did, was for the hat to have been done at the complete opposite angle. But for some reason it works better when you're doing the carving to do it the opposite way around. These are the funny little quirky things that happen when you're doing a wood carving. And that's something sometimes you've got to leave your instincts behind and try different things, see what works. If any of you as well caught our last week's video, we were demonstrating the clocks. So the process for how we make clocks in wood. Different people are asking us if you're UK based where we get them from. Company up in the north of England by the name of A.G. Thomas. Another Thomas. And yeah, they're good clock movements that we've had from them so far. We had a few that we did send back because there were a few marks on the face, but they sorted it out and sent us replacements. So we're just shaping again, just getting a little bit more depth, a little bit more separation as well between the tail and the back leg. Just going to bring that back leg just down a little bit further. And then again, we put that hoof, the stop cuts, and then use the 2 angles of the gouge. Same at the front, the stop cuts, use this normal cutting edge and the reverse cutting edge. Just into that edge there. So that's coming along nicely. Now we're going to get back to the face of our cat. I tell you what we're going to do. I'm going to shape its back, so get the body, finish off shaping that first of all, just like so, and a little bit of shaping just on there. Take away any stray little bits of wood. And in the workshop over the last week, we've had a few more groups in, which is always nice to see. At one stage last week, it was looking as if we were going to have nobody in, and then a couple of groups came in. So it's always nice to be able to share our work, explain the tradition, and share the different things that we're doing. What we're also working on throughout this winter is to get more and more in a situation where everything in the workshop is either made by ourselves or made locally. And as in the things made locally, then not a lot of things, it's mainly our own products. Just makes it more unique and more personal to ourselves. So we're just trying to get the right level. It'll help as well, when I'm carving in there, it will also help when I drop the surround. So that surround, if we just drop that down quickly like that, it makes it easier to get in and to carve into that edge. Just like so. There it is. Okay, and on this one here, we need to do a little line like that. And a little line like that. So that's its nose, and then the mouth, just down, just like so. Could also do that, I suppose, with a V gouge. That would work too. And then the eye. I think I'll do a little bit of sanding first of all, before we finish that off. I think the head, it's always worth, as you're going along, do a bit of sanding just to see if anything needs a little bit of shaping. I want to hear about the print you sold. Yeah, we did sell a print last week. It was... Now the interesting thing, it was when I did a Tenby years ago to our local town, and our local seaside resort, close to where the workshop is, and perfectly honest about it, it's got the sky is like a bright yellow. Truth be known, I over-edited it a bit too much, but it's one of our most popular prints, so I've never changed it because people like it that way. Interesting how you do things. It's the same with the carving. You'll do certain things and you'll see an issue there yourself, but other people don't see it in the same way. So you've always got to be open to taking on board other views and other ideas, because yeah, that particular print, I would have preferred it if I hadn't have had the colours that I did, but it proves quite popular. I think we need to reshape this a little bit. What I'm trying to create the effect of reason I've taken that down now, I'm just changing angles. So that head of the cow, and that's why it's useful doing the sanding to see what angles you've got on things. That cow is sort of looking at like a 45 degree angle. So by just changing the angle of the snout, making it a bit more sort of squared on, like so, hopefully that's going to make it look a bit more realistic. That's the hope, that's the aim. And we're not going to take off too much, but we are going to shape it a little bit more. And what I've done in terms of the design then, and as a general rule, we try to do this. I've got the cow facing the one way, so cow's facing the left. Dragon's got to be right in terms of how we carve a dragon, so that's got to face left as well. But in between, we got the sheep, and I've got that one, so it's facing the other way. Let's have a little look. Where would the eye be? That about there, I think. Yeah, that's coming along. It's nice carving different things. It's nice carving animals and stuff like that, and just creating that simple impression. What we got on there? I remember as a child going to West Wales on a family trip. The beaches was soft. Yeah, that's it. Pebbly beaches. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, we got some lovely beaches in the area. Tenby that's one of the most well-known ones, but Barafundle Bay and different ones like that, very popular. And my favourite is a beach called Monkston. Which is your favourite beach, dude? Monkston for Dad as well, yeah. It's Monkston's a good one because it's a bit of a trek down to the beach itself, and a lot of people don't realise that it's even there because you've got to walk down the coastal path, along the Pembrokeshire National Coast Path, and there's a place where they call Trevane Farm, and so a lot of people don't realise you can even go down there. So even in the